I remember when I was 6 years old, I guess, seeing Peter and the Wolf.
Mhm.
Stokowski himself, Leopold Stokowski, conducted it. 30, 40 years later, I'm writing a piece for the American Symphony Orchestra. And he said, "Have you ever seen me conduct?" I said, "Maestro, that's the first conductor I've ever seen." Went into the, and I said, "I remember Mr. Kincaid played that great flute solo, and the police dog that was supposed to be the wolf went, and he looked at me and he said, I hope that wolf call is not the only thing you remember me for." But then he took me up to his place and he said, "I'd like to have you show you my friends." His my friends was this big empty room with shelves with hundreds of scores. I said, I wanted to say where I guess your friends are out tonight, but I didn't, didn't want to be fresh. And he said, "These are my friends." And he was in his 90s, I guess, by then. And he had all those scores. And he had all these concerts booked till he was over 100. I said, wow, he didn't buy the idea of us being assigned a rocking chair.
Yeah.
He was in it for life and a longer life than most of us could expect. So when people now say, "Well, gee, he's 95 and you're still doing it," I said, "Well, how come you're still doing that?" I said, "Well, Dizzy Gillespie told me on his 65th birthday, he said, they keep asking me when I'm going to retire. He said, God put me here to do this music. He said, my philosophy about that is I will bop till I drop." And Satchel Paige, the great baseball pitcher, was legendary for striking out the Yankees killer row of all four guys in an exhibition game and struck everybody out. Finally, after Jackie Robinson was able to have the color bar broken, was drafted in his 50s as a major league rookie. It was the first time in the major leagues. They said, "How do you feel about that, Mr. Page? You've been, because of discrimination, you're one of the great ball players of our time, and you were in what they called the Negro League." He said, "I had such a good time playing ball with all the fellows." He said, "I never let old age catch up with me." And then he said, Mark Twain said, aging is a question of mind over matter. He said, what I say is, if you don't mind, it don't matter. So that's my way of thinking. When people ask me that question, I say, I will retire when I after I expire.
Bop till you drop, retire
And
when you
that's,
expire.
that's so that the combination of those things usually make people gracefully change the subject.